And welcome to this, the regularly scheduled Shelburne Select Board meeting of Tuesday, October 23, 2018, which I now call to order. The first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. Is there discussion or comment?
Could I ask that we switch items 12 and 13?
So yes, I think that'd be fine. It's a friendly amendment.
Yes,
Everybody?
absolutely.
Any other discussion?
Just flip them.
Any discussion in the public? Seeing no hands, hearing none. Those approving, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The next item is public comments. Ruth, would you please?
Okay, so I'm Ruth, and I'm here to talk just briefly about the library project. You can see we're starting to pour the foundation walls. That's exciting. We have begun excavating around Town Hall to put in the perimeter drain, so I don't want anybody to freak out by that. It's a massive ditch. It's going to go all the way around Town Hall, but it's all right. We're putting in the drain, then we'll backfill it, and, we'll put up mastic first, and then backfill, and hopefully that'll keep it basement dry forever. And then the last thing I have to say is I just wanted to alert everybody to the fall fundraising campaign that has now begun. The library always has a fundraising campaign in the fall. This year we have 2 generous donations that are allowing us to basically quadruple your donation. So if you give $100, then that turns into $400. That is active through November 15th. So keep an eye out. There's going to be some ads in the news and stuff, or you can just go over and ask at the library. So that's all I have.
Ruth, is there a limit to the contributions? Like if somebody donated $50,000, would it turn into $200,000? Not that
okay,
I'm suggesting
yeah,
I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know who would do it.
Thank you. Okay, yes, so let me just think for a second. How do you explain it? So we can do so you give us $75,000, we could match that. Above $75,000, we could not do the quadruple match. We could still do a doubling, but we can't do the quadruple. Does that make sense? More or less? Yeah.
Got
So
it.
keep an eye out.
Thanks.
Noted.
Ads. All right,
Great.
thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Are there any other public comments? Any discussion? Before we entertain the next item, which is to consider entering executive session, for those viewing at home and our guests here, let me give you some sense of what's going to occur. The next time we'll appear in this room as a board in open session is going to be approximately 10:30. The cameras will not be running from now until then. You grace us with your presence and your interest, but I have to ask you for the use of the room for the priorities of interviews. You're welcome to take up residence in the staff kitchen, which is one open room. Other areas will be occupied by candidates and such, but I can only apologize to you that it's going to be some time before we're back. The only good news is that you get to see the World Series.
And I'm thinking I'll come back and I'll report how it's going.
I would fully expect so, or you'll never be welcome again, Linda.
I'll have updates in case any of you want to come out of session.
Thank you. A little sleight of hand went way down the aisle. Maybe a ball thrown up our way that has it written in black marker. That will help. But in any case, sorry, gang. It's what we have to do and how we do it. So.
Will the video resume at 10:30?
Yes, we will. We'll start. They're going to start rolling again, Vivian, when we come back, and then we go, as you know from reading the agenda, to an executive session. Not too long after. We have some very brief business items, and then we'll go back into executive session. But this should be. We're certainly very hopeful we'll be finished by 10:30. Okay. Thank you. In that case, I would like a motion to the effect that we are going to enter executive session pursuant to 1 Vermont statutes annotated 313, parent 3, to interview town manager candidates.
You want us to make it? Go ahead.
I think we have to.
Yeah,
we
I
have
think
to
we
have
have to make the
the
motion.
premature Okay, so move to find that premature general public knowledge regarding the appointment of or employment or evaluation of a public officer or employee would clearly place the town at a substantial disadvantage.
Thank you,
Second.
Colleen. Is there a
Second.
second? Jamie seconds. Any discussion? Those approving, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And the following motion?
Move to enter executive session pursuant to 1 VSA 313.3.
Thank you, Colleen. A second? Mary seconds. Any discussion? Those approving, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, and those opposed, nay. Thank you, and thank you for your indulgence. Okay, good evening again. Is there a motion to resume regular meeting?
Yes.
Moved by
Second.
Mary,
Second.
seconded by Colleen. Any discussion? Hearing none. Those approving, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The next item is the town manager search process. We can report that we have interviewed 3 candidates and that any decision from there, it will be forthcoming. We do plan to meet Thursday morning as a special select board meeting, and part of that subject will be further consideration of candidates. Josh is going to provide you, Maddie, with the resumes,
Okay,
okay?
perfect,
By email, so you have them tonight.
perfect.
Any questions, comments? The next item is to approve the Select Board meeting minutes of October 9. The September 11 minutes we are postponing once again, and finally to our November meeting. Is there a motion on the October 9 minutes?
Move to approve the October 9 minutes as drafted.
Second.
Moved by Mary, seconded by Josh. Any discussion? Hearing none. Those approving, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nay. Next are 2 items, 8 and 9, Peter, regarding loan agreements and a loan application. We have your handout.
Yeah, the first item is the approval of loan for $2,014,153 for the sewer upgrade. I want to emphasize that's not a new loan. We actually go through this project, the way the funding works through the state revolving loan fund, as different phases are completed, or planned, you apply for the loan at that point. You may remember several months ago, you approved a loan of $1.831 million for the same project. And this is just basically adding on to that for a change order that was done to complete the work that's being done this summer. So we're going from a loan of $1.831 million up to the $2.014 million. So it's not a new loan, it's just an increase, and that will probably be the end of the loan for this phase of the project. It's wrapping up this fall, so that will pretty much complete the loan for this portion of it.
Peter, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Is this borrowing consistent with what was anticipated?
Yeah, it's all part of the $3 million bond that was approved in about 3 years ago, I guess now, for collection system work only this summer. That's the phase that Chris had done. This was actually a change order. That's why it was a small increase for a part of the project that they discovered, I think, where some of the collection systems should be replaced, where they already had another area that was exposed. So rather than cover it up and dig it up later,
Yeah,
they figured it was more
Chris
efficient
explained that to us,
to do
yeah.
that now.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Any other discussion?
No,
Is
I
there-
would, sorry. I would move to approve a loan agreement with the Vermont Municipal Bond Bank in the amount of $2,014,153 for sewer collection system improvements.
Second.
So moved by Mary, seconded by Colleen. Any discussion? Any comment in the public? Hearing none. Those approving, please signify by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it.
Send this around, there's several places for signatures if you please.
Thank you. And the next item, Peter?
Yeah, this is a request to apply to the State Equipment Loan Fund for purchase of a bucket loader for the Highway Department. There's no loans to sign at this point, it's just approval to apply for it. This was a bit of a surprise. We didn't have the bucket loader scheduled to be replaced in the capital plan for several years. But what Paul and his staff discovered was there's been some rust and deterioration around the cab area. The thought was just replace the cab, but they don't make them anymore. And a welder is probably not going to want to take the liability of repairing that. So unfortunately, that's really our only option, is to replace it. So we did go out for bid on that. The successful bidder is Wood CRW in Williston. The price is $138,000. They're giving us a $35,000 trade allowance on the existing loader, and then for taking $5,000 out of the equipment fund. So we'll be applying for, or taking it out of the highway equipment replacement fund. So we'll be applying for the balance of $100,000 through the equipment loan fund the state of Vermont has. It's an attractive loan because it's a 2% interest rate for 5 years, and the banks that we've been talking to, it's hard to get rates those low this time. So the request is simply to apply for the loan, and then if we're approved, then we would bring the documents forward to be signed.
Move to approve the loan application of the Vermont Municipal Equipment Loan Fund for purchase of a highway department bucket loader, $100,000 loan over 5 years at 2.5% interest.
Second?
Seconded by Mary, moved by Colleen. Any discussion? Hearing none, those approving, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Peter, thank you. Thank you so much for hanging in here tonight, Peter. Can't thank you enough. Next item is a conference expense for select board members. Jamie is, conferencing is one of the very important aspects of that benefits all of our performance and makes us a stronger, more knowledgeable board. So it has to be encouraged on all of our parts. Some have, our interests will always differ. In this case, Jamie's interested in attending a conference that has a registration fee of about $165. My sense of it was to be sure we're all comfortable with expenditures from our discretionary account, and I suggested maybe we sort of set an internal budget of up to $200 for each of us to attend whichever professional meetings or conferences we think most benefit, serve some of our individual interest and benefit the group. So the idea here is to sort of set aside an amount, at least an expectation, that we might be using our discretionary funds for registration fees and other conferencing costs.
So that's out of the existing select board
Yeah,
budget?
yeah. It's something to think about in the future because they are valuable, as we've all discovered several of us have. Some are convenient, like the VLCT meeting was in South Burlington. Some are not nearly as convenient, and they involve some travel, sometimes an overnight, and sometimes, pretty substantial fees. So I wanted to be sure we were all comfortable with the idea of having sort of a set aside internal to that budget.
But, is there limits? do we cap the amount?
Well, my thought was if we sort of put 1,000 across, that's,
Total.
200, total, 200 apiece. Some of us may
That
use
makes
nothing,
sense.
some
Yeah.
may,
Okay.
and we just, we'd adjust and as we go along. But I wanted to be sure we all felt comfortable signing on to some of these things, again, not all of which charge money, but in the cases of those who do, that these funds are available and we'll just keep tracking them as we go along. So I don't know that it needs a vote, it was a matter of awareness. Any,
It's
Well,
on there
I'd
as
only
a,
add to that, and I,
as a
perhaps speaking a
decision
little
item.
out of turn, I feel badly that Colleen incurred substantial costs to come back for interviews that had been canceled. And because she had to take a red eye, she upgraded her flight a little bit so that she might have some chance of sleeping. And if we do this, I would like Colleen to be able to take $200 to defray her costs for the flight, if she's interested. I don't know. I just know that.
well, the too
Mary,
bad thing
I-
about that situation for which I took responsibility was that it wasn't my responsibility, in fact. And there had been simply a failure of communication to
I'm not
let
a-
everybody
yeah.
know that that meeting has been changed some time ago. Not recently, but some time ago. And there was reference in several cases, I know, to the fact that we don't know when we're going to next meet because we haven't gotten a recommendation from the committee. So I'm very sympathetic to anybody's personal situation and personal planning. If Colleen wishes to apply $200 to her costs in that case, I'd be all for it.
Mary, I
you?
really appreciate that. I do. It was discouraging the way that it all worked out, but it was of no malevolency on anybody's part. It was just the way that it happened. And I understand that. It kind of just,
Thanks,
I'm
Colleen.
glad that we were able to do it, but I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen. Is there any other discussion? Josh? Anybody? Lee got a comment?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's just an internal management of a discretionary budget, that's all. I mean, just so we're aware. All right, the next item is to confirm budget preparation schedule and work plan. You've been provided another copy of a document that's been out for some time. We decided on December 11th, and the reason we need to address this tonight, late as it is that the budget process turns on that event. That event is very key, and if we're going to change the date, this is the time to do it, tonight.
We decided on
It
the
was-
13th.
Yeah.
One or two corrections on this as well. There's a date of November 14 that's actually Tuesday, the 13th,
Okay,
which is a regular meeting night when we've warned the capital budget for.
Sorry, I missed that.
And then it also begs the question of whether we will have the second meeting in November as per our usual schedule on the 27th. That's not listed as a budget
No.
night necessarily. My
we
recommendation
have done
is.
that, haven't we met after the week after Thanksgiving?
I think so.
Not Thanksgiving week, but the week after?
Right.
That is the week after, yeah.
Yeah, so that should be, is that okay with everybody?
I will.
What's the
27th?
date of that?
27th?
Yeah.
I'll call in.
Okay,
That's November 27th?
November
That's,
27th.
we're adding an extra one in there?
Well, it would
No,
be the
that
normal
doesn't seem
second meeting of the month. It's just not on the calendar yet. I'm not looking for more night meetings either, but I want to, we have so much work in process
Yeah.
that I
So
think
we
we're
don't
gonna
meet
need
the
it.
20th? The 6th and the 20th would be our normal
Yeah.
meetings.
I
Wait, in
understood,
November?
we were changing the 20th to
Oh,
the
this-
27th, because 20th is Thanksgiving week.
Right, but isn't it normally the second
The
and
second,
fourth
it's supposed to be
Tuesday?
the
I
13th
I
and the
understand
27th.
that, but,
It's
So
supposed
it
to be the
wouldn't,
13th and the
all right,
27th.
well, then let me back
Oh,
up and
so
try
it
to
wouldn't be a
understand.
change.
No,
It's not a change, sorry.
Not a change.
I thought that's when
Okay.
we were having the meetings.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just making sure.
So we're
that-
all set with the
We're all set.
27th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, how about the December date? Can you not make that one, Colleen, is that it?
Absolutely cannot be there. But
Which date is this?
that's the 13th. I mean, is
So
there,
Couldn't we, is it possible to move it up?
to the
I
week
would say
before?
we have certainly play with a day or two. I think if we're going to be a week, that up would be too soon. A
Yep.
week later would be late. I
Yeah.
think
Then
I'd like to stay in
I-
that week.
Okay, then I will not be able to be there
At all?
at all.
Well,
I'm gone that whole week.
what about the week before?
I'm here that week before, but if it's too soon, then
I'm not
that's,
here that
I
week.
don't, yeah.
The week of the 3rd?
Yeah.
We can't do?
Yeah, well,
I don't
but-
think
but
we'll be
then-
ready the week of the 3rd.
You know, but
But it's a
if we're
whole
having
day.
the meeting
It's
on
a
the
whole day.
11th,
Here, yeah.
if we're not having the budget until the 11th, we couldn't do it before that anyhow.
We can't, I don't think it'll be ready on the 3rd.
okay.
And the week before that, I know it won't be ready. That backs us in. We could stand the 18th, but that would be kind of stretching it, Lee, wouldn't it?
I can't do the 18th.
Well, and that's when we fly home. So, I mean, even then,
Okay.
that wouldn't help.
Then I think we're going to have to stay with the date as scheduled.
I have a dentist appointment at 6. Will we be done by then?
Ooh,
At 6
Well,
p.m.? No?
is it
Hope
for
so.
is it the 13th?
Yeah,
But that's, yeah,
all day.
yeah, that's 9 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a
Okay,
9
good.
to 4 kind of a thing.
Good. Thank
golly,
you.
I don't know what to do about that, Colleen, at this point.
It is what it is. Okay.
We certainly, between Lee and I, will certainly arrange something to get you up to speed with whatever we did.
Okay.
I think we're late we're pretty late in schedule. You want to weigh in, Peter? I don't think we're going to be ready before the 11th. Do you, the week before?
That could be difficult, yeah. But
You think
again-
so?
But again, the town manager doesn't submit the formal budget until the 31st, so this is kind of a step in that direction.
Yeah, I agree.
Nothing's really being finalized.
No,
It's
we don't
just
want to go beyond, I agree.
Department heads discussing their requests so that you can weigh those along
Right.
with the town manager's proposal.
Yeah.
So,
I just wish that we didn't do the budget like at the same time as the holidays. Wouldn't it make so much more sense if we just like we were doing budget in like, I don't know, April when we're not doing anything else in general?
We'd have to change town meeting.
I know, but it's
We
like
can work on
it's
that.
always awkward every single year.
Yeah.
Well, someone's always away, so.
All right, gang, what do we want to do?
Can it-
We want to stay with it, and
Yeah, just
somehow
stay with it.
we get Colleen up to speed by special effort?
Sure.
We can certainly provide a narrative for her between the two of us in terms of what main issues in discussion, and the decisions aren't final.
No, well, none of them.
No.
There's no decisions made that day at all.
No.
It's just
So,
listening to the arguments from various department heads
yeah,
for their budget.
and we can communicate to the major issues all right?
Okay.
Now, what we're going to propose, so that you also know, Maddie, is that we're going to move the two following executive sessions tonight to Thursday as an add-on. It's much too late for all of us, not least you. And we're going to move those to Thursday, add it as just a separate little section to the Thursday morning agenda.
Okay. What time
And-
are you guys meeting on Thursday morning? What time are you meeting?
8.
8 a.m.
8.
8 a.m.
8, and Lee
Sharp.
needs
Lee is
to,
going to, I'm just about to ask him if he'd post that on a 24-hour basis, a special
special
meeting of the
meeting.
board, 8 o'clock here, to consider candidates for the position of town manager.
Yep.
And we'll add 12 and 13, Lee.
And will those all be exec session?
yes.
Yes. Yeah. Will come out,
Yeah.
potentially. I would leave the search process update item in there because you'd never know.
Right.
But essentially, this is going to be a series of executive sessions. It will not be filmed, so,
All right, I'll do that tonight.
yeah, thanks. All right,
Great.
before there's a
To
motion to adjourn, is there
Second.
any other question, any other comment?
Yes,
Well,
I have one. I'll bring it up at our next meeting, but I did attend an energy conference for municipal energy savings.
Yeah, I'm there.
But I'll share it at an earlier hour
Yes.
at our next
I'll
meeting.
tell you who's got a big interest in that is the farms. We should put that together for you. They've got a really big, Megan,
This was directed at,
Orders in.
this was directed at how municipalities
Yeah.
can
yeah.
conserve.
They've got
So
a,
our new
VLCT?
police cars, all Priuses.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the most interesting thing I think I heard, is that, not even that, but how you can retro the,
A regular one, so it doesn't
regular
idle.
I've
They
told them
have,
in 3 years you're gonna have self-driving cars, so what are you gonna do on patrol?
So,
Move to adjourn?
second.
oh, I thought we did that, I'm sorry.
it's self-driving
Any further
cars.
discussion? Those approving,
second.
please signify by saying aye.
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 And those opposed, nay. Thank you very much.
Self-driving cars apparently